Welcome to Real Talk Real Women. My name is Miriam Khalladi and today we have Rachel Elizabeth from LA on the show. Welcome Rachel, how are you?
Hi, I'm fantastic. Thank you.
So you had a very interesting childhood. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
I grew up as a military brat. Meaning my dad was in the army and he was stationed multiple places all over the United States and a few places in Germany. And so while we lived in Germany, I got to travel all over Europe. I've even been through the Netherlands, and I want to go back now that I'm older and can appreciate it more. But I've been all over Europe. I studied abroad in London, and I think it made me very adaptable. Very, um, I yeah, I adapt very easily, and I've been very cultured and very blessed. So.
Great. I read that because you moved around a lot, you developed an ability to adapt to change. How does that benefit you today?
Today, my career requires me to think on my toes a lot. I'm an entrepreneur. I work for myself, and I do many things. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. So, being able to adapt is critical. And I highly doubt I would have been able to be doing all of the different things that I do if I were not so easily adaptable. And then also just in my move to Los Angeles, I don't think that I would have been as willing to take that leap of faith if it weren't for knowing that I have moved so many times and I'm able to do it and I know it's possible and I'm going to be okay. So yeah, I think that's helped a lot with career transitions.
You had a very traumatic experience that eventually led you to a very positive change in your life. Would you be willing to share a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How much detail do you want?
Just what you want to share is.
Okay, so I've always been into sports, but I really never understood I guess, the relationship between nutrition and weight training and how to sculpt your body and how to actually use fitness as something to change your lifestyle into something really positive and strengthen you, and how it helps your self-esteem and all of that until college. And it was right after I had this traumatic experience. My junior year of college, I was raped, and it shattered my self-esteem. I didn't recognize the person I had become, and it was probably 3 to 4 months after it had happened that I realized that I had changed. I couldn't stop looking at my reflection in mirrors, making sure my makeup was okay, and it wasn't just a normal vanity thing. It was an actual fear that just came over me, and I can't describe it. I can't describe it, but it wasn't me. I had never been that insecure ever. And so I traced it back to, okay, when did this start? And it was that event. And so I turned to what I knew at the time for stress relief, which was running. And I realized that after I started running 7 to 8 miles a day, that it was becoming an obsession and that it was tearing my body down. And I've been a Christian my whole life. So I definitely started leaning more into God through that time. And um, I just remember it was just such a divine intervention. But while I was beating myself up through all this running, and not that a little bit of running is bad, it's not. Running is a great exercise. But for what I was using it for, it was becoming more of an obsession or an idol. And anything to that extreme is going to be bad for you unless you put God first. And that's my opinion, but I totally believe that's true. So I started leaning into God, put him first. And I happened to meet at the same time a good friend of mine who happens to be a personal trainer, or happened, I don't know if he still is, but he was a trainer at the time. And he took me through a weight training session and then taught me all about basic nutrition, which after I've been studying and have certifications in it now, it turns out he was dead on. He was exactly right. So everything that he taught me was everything that I've continued to learn is the right way to do things, as far as like fueling your body for fitness, for recovery, for optimal energy. And through all that, I know this is a long-winded answer, but through all of that, I have never been more confident, and I have never felt better about my body. And I mean, everyone has moments of insecurity, but it's not the same thing. It's not the insecurity that came from an identity theft of the spirit. You know what I mean? So yeah, faith in fitness completely changed my life.
Wow.
It's incredible. So I use that now, hopefully, to inspire women that, you know, you can overcome really traumatic events by giving your life. I mean, that sounds really cheesy, but basically letting go, giving it to God, and turning to fitness in a healthy way. Fitness as it was meant to be, to build your body stronger and then find that confidence through a healthier body, healthier lifestyle. So
Yeah, I
very,
agree. I agree.
yeah.
Yeah. Very impressive story.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
It's definitely not something I would have chosen for myself, but
Yeah,
it's definitely a platform.
absolutely. Yeah. You tried a lot of different sports. Why did you choose to have a career in fitness?
You know what? I kind of fell into it. When I was growing up, I never, ever thought to myself, when I grow up, I'm going to be a trainer and a fitness model. I never thought that, but I I always wanted to model, and growing up, I never thought that that would be a possibility, because I mean, this is so much deeper of a story. If we wanted to get into it, it would take us forever. But long story short, my parents are very conservative and amazing and love me to death. But my mom stressed over the top, stressed modesty, and, you know, wearing turtlenecks up to here. And she's not, and, you know, she's not a prude by any means, but she's definitely very, very protective. And so even the idea of modeling and suggesting that to her as a career was kind of terrifying to me. So I always had this like stigma that being beautiful was a bad thing in a way. Like my parents would tell me, "Oh, you're beautiful," but it wasn't allowed outside. You know what I mean? Like it was, like I said, it's really hard to describe because my family is flawless. They're just amazing. But I also thought that I'm 5'7", and the baseline height for modeling is usually 5'8", and through fitness, I was able to have an outlet for that. And so growing up in sports was actually a blessing, because there were so many of them that I could build my skills list. I found out about fitness modeling as actually pretty new as a category for modeling. A couple years ago, 2007, a friend of mine sent in my pictures without me knowing to his sports modeling agency, and they sent me a contract. And because I had always wanted to do it and never thought, you know, my height would let me, and with my parents and all that, I thought, what a great opportunity to do what I've always kind of wanted to do, but been afraid to admit that I wanted to do. And I don't have to be like that supermodel beautiful that I never thought that I was even close to. I thought in my mind at the time, I appreciate what God has created with me, not in no sense of being vain at all. I understand that He has given me a package to present a message. And so I will admit that I know that I am an attractive person. I don't hold that over any. It's really hard for me to say that. But over time, I basically was allowing myself to realize that. However, going back to when I started, I thought I was very plain. I thought I was very plain in every way and didn't deserve any of these opportunities. And so through fitness, there was something about the idea of sports and fitness that, in my mind, it allowed me to accept that I could be a model without being that typical beautiful, which in my mind I didn't think I ever would be, ever.
No, you're beautiful.
At the time, thank you, but it at the time it was definitely a struggle. And so I thought, oh, well, plain girls can model too, and 5'7" plain girls can model too. So I booked my first job the first week, and having all the sports experience in my background from doing so many sports was actually a huge advantage, because what the fitness modeling world is looking for is, as far as mainstream, like Nike, Adidas, Reebok, they're looking for somebody with extensive skill in a number of different things so they can book you all across the board. So if, let's say, you grew up in gymnastics and that was the only thing you ever did, you're very pigeonholed. You can only do gymnastics for shooting. I mean, you can't do baseball because you don't know anything about it. So they wouldn't put you out for a job for a model that plays baseball. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's my experience has been very, very helpful for this. So I hope that answered the question. It's kind of long-winded.
No,
I
it's
tend to
great.
be.
Yes. No. It's a great answer. Thank
Okay,
you.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Those lifestyle changes quickly led to incredible results. A lot of people struggle for a long time to get those kind of results. What What did you do differently?
Oh, you mean the physique change? That honestly, let me just explain a little bit about my college experience. Before I before I had the transition before I met my friend that was the trainer that explained nutrition to me, I was the typical college student who went out and had beers with the guys, and I was in a sorority, and ate pizza at 3 a.m. and just didn't know a thing about eating right, and was shocked, surprisingly, shocked that I started gaining weight, and I didn't know what else to do besides cardio because I didn't know anything really about weight training. And so as soon as I changed my eating and changed my workouts to more weight training based, I started doing that like 2 to 4 times a week to start. But I also, at the very same time, completely changed my nutrition. And so I saw changes in a week. I mean, it sounds crazy, but once you make that huge of a switch, your metabolism just shoots right up, and it's amazing the results that can happen if you are disciplined enough to make those changes. Now, in my experience, I just wanted it bad enough. And I know that sounds really cliche, because a lot of people are like, oh, I really want it, but it's just not working for me. In my mind, I make a switch, and it's like that's all that's going to happen. I was like, okay, so I need to cut out processed carbohydrates. I need to cut out white bread. I'm going to switch that for whole grain. I'm going to switch my cereal for breakfast for egg whites and oatmeal instead. Like, those changes were very easy for me because I was determined to make a change. So I don't know how to explain how to create that mindset for yourself, but I truly believe that when that happens, when that clicks, that you can make tremendous changes in no time at all. I'm not saying overnight, but very, very quickly. If you really are determined and have the information, you can make those changes overnight. So my biggest, I guess my biggest tip in all of this is get educated. Get educated, because there's a lot of misinformation in magazines. Go to the source of the information. Go to a biochemistry book and read up on it. Read a personal training textbook. So go to the source of the information, not the hearsay through the uncertified people, through the magazines and all that. So yeah, get educated.
I agree.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. You come from a very athletic family. Do you think this gives you a genetic advantage?
I think that more than physically, it helps mentally. So I do think I have a genetic mental mindset advantage, because I could just as easily be lazy and not want to do anything physically, and my body would show it. So it comes down to, yeah, I guess my body will tend to take the shape of a more athletic body just because my dad and my mom's not very athletic, really, to be honest. She tries, but she's just a little Norwegian girl. So, she loves her cookies and baked goods more than most people. But my dad is the triathlete, and his mother is a masters swimmer, and she was a senior Olympics gold medalist swimmer. So she's also just gung-ho about everything. But I think it requires a little crazy, and I think I inherited that from that side of the family. So
I agree.
well, thank you. Thank you for calling me crazy.
No. It was not
I'm just kidding.
about you crazy.
It's good. It's a good thing in moderation.
At this point in your career, one of your goals is to inspire others all over the world with your vision. Yes. One of the ways you're doing that is through your own brand, Cause Fitness. Tell us about that.
You have done your homework, my dear. Cause Fitness, it's very, very special to me. When I started fitness modeling, I was already personal training, and at the time, I was very inspired by the women on the covers of Oxygen magazine and Women's Fitness and Fitness magazine, Women's Health, you name it. I decided at that point when I started fitness modeling that that's kind of what I wanted to do. Is my goal was going to be on a cover. And as I started pursuing that, I learned how to brand myself with knowledge and the modeling, so that I was more of a personality and a brand rather than just simply, oh, there's pretty pictures and there's some girl that nobody knows about who knows a little bit about fitness and nutrition. So I educated myself, and I started branding myself, the pictures that I had of myself, as a business. So that became the face and the logo of my business. Unfortunately, that became very ego-driven, and I lost sight of what my original purpose was, which was always rooted in caring about people and wanting to help people change their lives for better. And so that kind of started spiraling, not out of control, but kind of spiraling downwards towards just very me focused without even meaning to. And there was one day that I have to tell you, I was just kind of praying about it, and I was caught off guard because it was like this voice in my head, which I believe was God, but it was just so vivid, just so audible. And it was like, you know what, you didn't make any of this. Like, this is not what you're supposed to do. Refocus, and you're going to be, you're going to change the name of your business. And I started thinking to myself, like, why would I change the name of my business? My business is Rachel Elizabeth, blah, blah, blah. So, I started thinking about like what I was really passionate about. And one of those things is mission work. So, traveling abroad and helping people. And this happened right after a trip to Thailand that I took, where I was basically volunteering with a group from my church in Seattle, East Lake community, at a little girls' orphanage in Thailand. And just seeing that orphanage was working so hard to get those women an education as they grew up, those girls an education as they grew up, so that they weren't forced into the sex trade. And that's also very near and dear to me because of what happened to me. And so all of these combined, I want to be able to educate people all over the world through a missions type outlook, like go to those communities and help those women, or go somewhere else and give another group of people, guys and girls, like the knowledge in health and fitness to start careers in that, or to better their own lifestyles so that they can help other people around them, which just all of a sudden hit me during that prayer day, like Cause Fitness. It came out of the blue. Like, a lot of people will sit down and think about, what am I going to call my business? And it has to be catchy and it has to be this, but it came out of the blue. Cause Fitness, fitness for effect. Because if there's a cause and effect, then that effect can also cause further effect, if that makes sense. It's more of a butterfly effect. So you change one person's life, the people around them in their circles are going to see that. And hopefully one person at least will be changed because of that. That person in turn is going to change somebody else's life, and it's going to have a ripple effect all over the world. So that's kind of what I want to do with Cause Fitness. I want to start a foundation. I want to travel. I want to, and yes, I love traveling, but it's more for expanding my reach. I want to be able to educate and inspire and change the world. I really do.
Wow, you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm very humbled to be in the position I am.
Great. How important is the support from family and loved ones when it comes to your ability to do what you do?
I think that it is very important, but there have been phases of my career where I didn't feel supported by my family, and in my gut, I knew I had to keep going. So yes, it's important, but I don't think that it is the most important thing. And that sounds crazy to even admit, but I truly believe that there have been some serious world-changing, amazing people out there, icons throughout history, that have not either had a family at all, or have not had any support, or no one believed in them at all, and they completely changed the world because they had that intuition that what they had to say was worth dropping everything for, worth losing everything for. And even if they didn't have the support, that they did it. So yes, it's important, and it's been very, very much a blessing, but it hasn't been the driving factor, if that makes sense at all.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm very blessed to have the support that I do have, but I think that I'm meant to do what I'm doing regardless of if I had that support or not.
What has been your best life experience this far?
Best life experience? Well, Thailand was life-changing. Best life experience. Well, I'm extremely, extremely lucky, extremely blessed to have been able to see a lot of the world already. Knowing what I'm meant to do now, knowing my purpose, I can look back and see that all of that was kind of shaping me. No, it was not kind of, it was definitely shaping me to be the person I am today. So everything that's happened, I can see as puzzle pieces just falling into place. But the most memorable, I'd have to say, is Thailand, and not because I haven't been all over the world, but because that experience opened my eyes to the needs, and the needs that my passion can actually make a difference in. So I have a heart for women. I have a heart for women who are, have been abused. And I also have a heart for traveling, educating, and all that. And all of that kind of culminated in that trip without me even realizing it was going to. So yeah, that was unbelievable. And just seeing how those little girls look up to total strangers and see and believe that we love them and that we were there to help them. And I'll cry thinking about it. Sorry.
No problem.
It's incredible. I wanted to just take them all with me. So sorry.
No problem.
Thank
you so much for sharing this.
Yeah, of course. They're just beautiful people. And I know that that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more we can do to help. And it just breaks my heart that they have to be in that situation, and that there aren't more people that have the vision that I'm able to have to go, dedicate their life to go helping these people. I'm not patting myself on the back by any means. I just wish more people's eyes were opened.
Right.
Oh, I'm getting all choked up.
I'm sorry.
Not at all. No, it's good.
Okay.
It's a good reminder.
Yeah. Where can people learn more about you online?
Oh, I am all over social media. So you can pretty much find me anywhere. If you Google search Cause Fitness, all of it'll come up. But I'm on Twitter at Cause Fitness. I'm on Instagram as Rach Elizabeth M. So it's Rachel Elizabeth kind of combined with the last initial M, Rachel Elizabeth M. I'm on Facebook.com/Rachel Elizabeth M. If you just search on Facebook, Rachel Elizabeth or Rachel Elizabeth Murray, it'll come up. And then Pinterest is Cause Fitness. What else do I have? YouTube is Rachel Elizabeth M. So both of those two are my handles no matter what. So if you search one or the other, you'll find it.
Okay, I will make sure to put all the links down
Thank you.
below this video. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
please do.
Is there anything else you would like to share with your fans?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Know that everyone has days of insecurity. Everyone feels not good enough sometimes, but that's a lie. That's a lie to keep you from realizing your true purpose. And you are created by God who loves you, and you have been uniquely gifted with certain talents and insights and wisdom and a way to see the world that nobody else on the planet has or ever has had or ever will have, because you are unique. And just as soon as you realize that purpose, you're going to be able to change the world, even if you can't see it, even if you never see it. Looking back on your life someday, like you're here for a reason. So I want you to realize that you are beautiful, unique, gifted, and nothing anybody says or nothing you think will ever change that.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for being on the show. It was an absolute pleasure.
It's my pleasure, and it's an honor. Thank you.
You're most welcome. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and I will see you in the next episode of Real Talk, Real Women.